Hello, and welcome to another session on using Blender for video editing. Today we're talking about scenes, what they are, and why you might want to use them, and how. So when you hear the word scenes, you might start thinking about films or plays, right? Like Act 2, Scene 4, or Scene 24 from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, a smashing scene with a lovely bit of acting in which... Okay, right, so back on point. So you could think of scenes in Blender that way, and that's perfectly fine, right? So we could try to create scenes, Blender scenes for every scene in your film, your project. And you could do it that way, but you don't have to. As we've seen before, it's perfectly fine and possible to create your entire project as a single scene, everything from start to finish, all in one, and there's nothing wrong with that. So why else might you want to use scenes? How else could we think about it? Similar to what we saw in the last session with meta strips, you can think of scenes as a container of content. Video strips, audio strips, and effect strips, and so on, including the different settings that goes with them. So the start and end frame range, the frame rate, the resolution, all that kind of stuff is all specific to the scene. So that's basically the concepts we're working with. So now let's talk about what you can do with them and how. Let's say you've been working on some video editing and you want to try something out. Well, if you take your scene and create a copy of it, then you can fiddle as much as you like, and if things turn out well for you, then great, you just move forward with that. And if not, then you just delete the scene you had created, and you don't have to, reload or refresh or undo a bunch of times. So that's one reason you might want to use a scene. And let me show you how to do that right now. So right here, I've got a scene set up with two image strips, like so, a color strip in between them, and then the image strip on top. I'm also applying a speed control effect. So let's say I wanted to fiddle with this thing. So first thing is I'm going to create a copy of it. And to do that, we go up to the plus sign right over here and click that. And then we are presented with several options. New, copy settings, link objects, data, link object data, and full copy. So for our purposes, for straight video editing, if you want to make a copy to work with, you go with full copy. The other options we can talk about now. So if you just wanted to start fresh, brand new scene, not related at all to anything else you've been doing, you would go to new, and it would create a new scene with all the default settings. If you wanted to create a scene with the same settings, like frame rate, dimensions, then you would go to copy settings. And these other two, they don't seem to do much in terms of video editing. They probably are very useful options if you're doing 3D modeling or something like that. But for straight video editing, it's really just one of these three choices: new, copy settings, or full copy. So because I was talking about making a copy of this and then fiddling, just playing around, we will take full copy. So here we go. I just clicked it. It looks like nothing's happened, but actually it has. If you go up to this section here, you'll see now we have scene.001, because as soon as you create a copy of a scene, it'll try to name it based off of what you had made the copy from, which was called scene, and then it adds a number to it. So here's a little tip for you. If you're going to start creating scenes that you actually want to keep, then first thing to do would be to rename it to something useful. Because as you start creating a whole bunch of scenes, it's really nice to have a decent name to associate in your head with what it is. So I'm going to call this, messing around, because that's what we're going to do. So let's say what I want to do is turn it into grayscale for maybe the halfway point. So what I'm going to do really quickly, I'm just going to add an effect strip, the adjustment layer, and I'm going to zoom in a bit so I can grab that handle with my right mouse button, stretch it out, and I'm going to click here, and I'll go down to here. Saturation. I'll go to saturation, and I'll bring that right down. So you can see here, if I scrub across, then for this part it's grayscale, and then it goes back over to here, and I like it. Or maybe I don't. Let's say I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. So I want to get rid of the scene. So how do you delete a scene? Very easy. You just click the X button, and you just click that with your left mouse button, and it's gone. And now you're seeing something that I wasn't supposed to show you yet. So deleting, very easy to do. Very easy to undo as well. So if you accidentally clicked on that, you can just press Control Z to bring it back. So let me go ahead. So Control Z to go back to that point, Control Z again, and then now we have our scene back. And if you click here, this button, click on that, that lets you switch from scene to scene. So that's that. What next? What else can we do? So another very useful feature is to be able to take some strips that have effect strips on them, like transition or speed control, and apply cuts to them. As we saw with the previous session on meta strips, that's something that you can do with meta strips. You create a meta strip, and then you can start cutting as much as you please, and everything will work out fine. You can do the exact same thing with scenes. So let me show you. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to hit the home button and say, all right, let's work with this. So I'm going to take this scene that I've added this adjustment layer, and I will use that as my source for a new scene, which I will apply cuts to, because I can't apply a cut to all of this stuff without the effect strips getting all wonky, they'll get cut, and that's not what we want. We want everything to be cut properly. So now I'm going to start by taking I'm going to create a new scene which copies the settings from here. So I click the plus button, and I'll say copy settings. Now you can see it. I have a new scene. It's called messing around.001. I'm going to call this cut example. And how do I bring it in? How do I load in the scene? You just add it like you do with anything else. You go to add, and instead of any of these options, we pick scene. And when you hover over the scene option, then you can pick any scene that you have created in your Blender project, including this scene if you wanted to. I'm not doing that. So this is the scene that we had just created previously. So I select that, and now we see this box. We need one extra step, which is to go over to here, and if I show it from the top, if you just scroll down about, I guess, halfway under this scene grouping, there's this checkbox that says use sequence. Just check that. And there you go. This is the scene we had before, and now we can do things with it, right? So about the halfway point is where I made it go grayscale, right? Black and white. Okay, so let's say I wanted to cut from here. So I'm going to cut this part, go to strip, and cut soft, and then I'll jump over to here, halfway to there, and then I'll cut soft again, and then I'll cut right over to here, cut, and then over to here, also cut. And then I will take these, I'll hold on to my shift keys, so I'll select that, and select, where was it? That. And I will then delete these, erase strips, and then I will, here's a little thing you can do. You can click inside the empty space between strips, and if you hit the backspace key, it'll automatically jump over to fill the gap, right? And there we go. So you can see I was able to apply the cuts, and everything turns out nicely. Okay, so what else would you want to do? Well, let's say you want to have different versions of your output. So if I go back to the original scene, for example, we can see here that we've got this going at 30 frames per second. But let's say for whatever reason we wanted another version of this at a lower frame rate. Let's say half of it, 15. So what we can do is we can keep this original scene exactly as is. We'll create a copy of it, modify the properties of that scene, and then we can output that as a different file, right? So actually this isn't even set up yet. This is the default settings that I have to output as an image. So we're gonna change the frame rate, and we're also gonna set it to output as a movie file. So let's start that. So I'll create a copy of this. So I can take advantage of the fact that I can either do a full copy, or I can copy the settings and then bring it over as a scene strip. And I think I will do that because that'll make things a little bit easier in terms of changing the frame rate. So I'm going to say, different FPS, and I'll jump back to the beginning. I will add the scene. And again, I have to click on use sequence so we can see it. And now I'm going to change the frame rate to 15. Okay. And if I scroll through, you can see it looks like this now, and it takes until the 2-minute mark to actually go the full length, because of course I need to adjust the speed of this as well, because I want this thing, it's supposed to be a minute long. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to click, press E while I'm here to adjust the frame range to just the 1 minute at 15 frames per second. Now I'm going to take the duration here. I'm going to scroll up and set that. I could type in 900, or I could do 1800 divided by 2, whatever, as long as I get 900 in the end. And then finally I will add speed control effect strip. So speed control on top of speed controls, because we have some speed, and we have a speed control in there. And that's it. So right, you can see now it's showing 42 seconds, which matches here, right? Going all the way from that to that. And then finally I can go down to here and change this to video and call it test MP4, and go under encoding that to H.264 MPEG-4, right? And there you go. So now I've got, it's the same content, but different frame rate and different output settings as well. Okay, so what else would we want to use scenes for? Well, how about bringing in some totally different content? You may have noticed in my previous videos that I will often use a red circle to highlight sections on the screen that you need to interact with in order to do what we're talking about. Well, that red circle, it's not an image. It's actually a 3D model, and the way to do it is just bringing it in as a scene. So remember when we first brought in a scene, so I'll go ahead and add another scene again now, and it shows up as this box. That box is supposed to represent the, the 3D aspect. So if there was 3D content like the circle that I have, it would show up here, and then you can use that in your video project. Also for compositing, right? So in a previous video, we talked about how to rotate a video using the compositor, and that's done by setting that all up in a scene and then bringing it in as a scene strip. So that is another reason why you would want to use scenes. Definitely not something you would be doing with a meta strip. Okay, and the last thing that I wanted to tell you about is how you can use scenes as a placeholder to be able to easily swap contents if you needed to. So for example, let's go ahead and play this clip, this strip. So as you can see, I've got two Cookie Monsters, identical except one's a mirror, and they're just chomping over and over again in front of a static background. So how did I do that, and what else can I do with it? Let's close this, or stop this. So if I scrub over, you can see this is the static image. And then here is one Cookie Monster, and here is another Cookie Monster. Both of these are the exact same scene, which I brought in, and then one of them I just flipped it on the x-axis. So what would we want to do with that? Well, let's say I needed to update that, or replace it entirely. All I have to do is go into the scene that contains this content and make that change, and it'll affect everything, everywhere where it's being used. So the scene itself is called looping animation. So if I click here, go to looping animation, and you can see right here, this is it. This is just two image strips, identical, of Cookie Monster just chomping over and over again. So let's change it. I'm going to go to the beginning. I'm going to go add image, and bear with me for a sec. These images. I'll press A to select everything, left click, and there we go. My favorite little guy. So let's see now. What I will do from here is I'll just duplicate this and then bring it over, and duplicate, bring it over, and select it all, and duplicate and duplicate. By the way, to duplicate, I'm pressing capital D, so Shift D, and keep on doing that until I have enough to fill. There we go. So what it'll look like now is like that. Okay, and then I will come back to this scene and hit the refresh sequencer button. And there we go. Now if I hit the play, now instead of Cookie Monsters, it's huge bananas. Okay, so very powerful ability, right? To be able to just make a change in one spot and then it'll affect everything else. Okay, so that's it for scenes, and as you can see, they're very useful. You can do a lot with it, but there are two limitations I want to tell you about. First is that if you want to use a scene inside of another scene, you're going to want to keep the resolutions the same. Otherwise, you might run into various problems if you try to use image offset or proxies. Things just look weird. So you can do yourself a favor, just keep the resolutions the same. Second is that keyframing does not work well with scenes, especially if you set up it in one spot and then you start doing cuts. Things just get really weird really fast. And as I mentioned before in the last session, with metastrips, they don't have that problem. So that's an advantage of metastrips over scenes. But besides that, it's really great to use scenes for when things get a little bit more complicated. So there you have it. Using scenes in Blender 2.79 video sequence editor. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.